Okay, Mark, do you want me to I will summarise what we've just discussed because it will be minuted anyway.
Okay.
Just for members of the public to note, so I've just chaired a private session to discuss the budget and precept proposal in relation to the Council's cost incurred and anticipated in defending the judicial review brought against this council by Vanessa Ambler. Our clerk will announce the results of the vote on the various motions and amendments, but I would like to say that the council have voted previously to defend the claim and have to budget accordingly. This is my personal view, but despite Ms Ambler publicising that her claim would not cost the council anything, nor cost the public anything, her legal adventures have already cost the council £15,000, and if her claim is not dismissed and it goes to a full hearing, it could cost another £50,000 or more. This is not our money, it is the public's money. Every one of the residents in this parish will have their council tax increased by over 80% to pay for this vanity project. Of course, if the claim is dismissed or she loses the judicial review, it will be this council's duty to seek recovery of the costs and hence your council tax. Ms Ambler seeks cost protection in her claim, so the whole burden falls upon parishioners, not her, despite her living in a rather comfortable series of houses over the years. Our legal team have advised that we should have a cost protection dismissed, and as a consequence we should ask the court for maximum recovery of our costs, so that the public at least recover some that is possible. We will pursue Ms Ambler to recover the public's money where possible. It has been said by all councillors and members of the public that this whole saga is a drain on our resources, our time and our money, all of which could be better spent on providing public services and facilities to our residents. Thank you. Amy, would you just like to do the results?
No, I just wanted to ask if a parish council meeting is an appropriate place for somebody to voice their personal opinion.
Well, yeah, that's what councillors do.
Right.
And they're elected to voice their opinions.
Right, that's good then.
I think.
Maybe then in light of that, does anyone else have anything else to say?
Do you want to let me?
Okay, so well, no, just off the back of that, you know, it's kind of silly, so.
No, I don't really want to say anything at this stage. I've not prepared anything, and I would rather think and consider what and if I want to say anything, and I'll think that in the future.
Could you tell us how the vote's going?
Sure. So, also, just to be quick, all of the motions as written passed. There were 2 amendments, an additional condition to the first motion that if the case is dismissed or withdrawn before the 23rd of January, the precept will not include the additional 50,000 budgeted or whatever remains after the costs have been finalised. So that amendment passed and was passed as a motion. The others also all passed with an additional amendment that any costs recovered from Ms Ambler to be deducted from the precept for the following year.
Thank you. Right, getting back onto the agenda. We have responses to public questions. Our clerk has promised will be answering those questions submitted by members of the public over the course of the month. So, clerk will read out.
Great, thank you. Okay, so question from Jacqueline Blasby, who said, I'm aware how judicial reviews work and have been involved in one or two. I know from experience that they are A, very expensive, and B, can run for a considerable amount of time. I'm guessing that the legal costs incurred by Ms Ambler who is bringing this action will be funded by herself and or her supporters who have signed the petition and are named in the legal bundle submitted to the court. Supposedly those supporters have been made aware of potential consequences arising from this legal action. However, my concern is how will the parish council fund their legal case? I've heard rumours that HBO parishioners will be footing the bill by increasing our precept. Viewing my opinion, I believe there are other matters in the village requiring the attention and finances of the answer from the Judicial Review Committee. We do not have knowledge of her funding arrangements or conversations she has had with her supporters. Unfortunately, yes, the draft budget at this meeting will include a recommended rise to the precept to allow for the judicial review legal fees. We hope it will not reach the level drafted and/or we can reclaim costs from Ms Amber to allow for a significant drop into precept the following year. The Judicial Review Committee agrees that there are better things that this money could be spent on. Okay, the following questions are from Alan Fisher, and I'll do the question and answer so it's clear. So question, your article in the November Parish magazine uses the word we no fewer than 12 times and us once. So I can presume this was written on behalf of the Parish Council. Can you confirm that this article was sent to all Parish Councillors prior to its publication? And if not, why not? Answer, in accordance with section 4, paragraph 2 of our communications and social media policy, I as clerk am authorised to do so. I did not send to all councillors as I did not need to, and all statements made were factual or in accordance with resolutions and legal advice. This is the third article I've done in the same way. Next question, your statement that we are not concerned about losing this legal battle is clearly at this stage, without communicating it to all councillors or the Judicial Review Committee, is in my view an opinion. In the absence of a media working group under section 4, paragraph 2 of the social media policy, can you confirm that this opinion was provided either by the Judicial Review Committee or by the full council and not just yourself? Might I suggest that your social media policy requires amending to ensure opinions are only provided by the council or authorised committees, albeit that they then may be communicated to a wider audience by the clerk? Answer, yes, this was from the Judicial Review Committee. Question, in your article in the November Parish magazine you state, we are not concerned about losing this legal battle, and considering the Parish Council have paid a firm of solicitors over £9,000 who by law must carry professional indemnity insurance to advise them on the transfer of the village green, why then, if the council are so confident about winning this legal battle, have they approved an expenditure of £15,000 for the initial defence of the judicial review, a sum which is considerably more than the cost of the previous work, and are now looking to agree a contingency budget of a further £50,000, and why have they engaged the services of another firm of solicitors? Answer, a claim under a solicitor's professional indemnity insurance requires negligence on the part of the solicitors when they gave us the advice. Our current solicitors found no issues with the advice they provided. If negligence is proven at some point, then councillors can, of course, consider action. Councillors selected the firm we are using for the judicial review. I included brackets in my email requesting quotes for legal support in the judicial review, and they did not respond. Judicial review legal fees will be higher than legal fees regarding assigning a lease, as it is a much more extensive process. Unfortunately, the legal fees for a full hearing would be very expensive. As stated in the previous answer, sorry, it will come up in another answer. Sorry, yeah. This is not a reflection of our chances of success. Question. Now that the village green vehicle entrance to the village green has been completed and presumably signed off, what is the final cost liability for the Parish Council, including the abortive works carried out prior to the works instigated by this council? Answer. Once the village green vehicle entrance is completed, which we hope will be soon, then it will be signed off and the costs will be finalised. The works initiated by the council have all been part of the same long drawn out process that we are looking forward to the completion of. The following questions are from Tony Howarth. Question, if the Parish Council have done nothing wrong, why do they need 65k to defend themselves against the judicial review? Answer, to decide whether to proceed to a full hearing, the court will consider the applicant's standing, if they have brought the case in good time, and if they have shown grounds to bring the claim. It is not a reflection of whether we will be successful or not. Question, why are the Parish Council paying for hall hire for Keith Artis CIC? For that matter, why does he need to hire the hall for 3 people to meet? Answer, the Council resolved at the August EGM to make a grant to Broad Oak Community Investments to fund establishment, legal advice and other purposes necessary for the company's objectives. The grant will be of £1,000 to be paid on receipt of expenditure. These payments come under this resolution. Question, why are we still paying various bills for village green maintenance when this should be covered by the yearly maintenance grant to HBO? Answer, any other payments regarding the village green are related to resolutions from before the transfer or obligations within the maintenance contract as part of the transfer. Question, can you confirm that all questions asked by the public are minuted and recorded? Answer, all questions and answers are recorded on the public questions document, which will be published on the website. Question from Sharon Andrews. So she's asked the same question of me personally and of Councillor Strutt as well. The question is, does the Vice Chair, Councillor Artis, have an indirect pecuniary interest relating to his directorship of the CIC, which has received a grant from the Parish Council? If your answer is no, then please explain how you have made your decision and what legislation you have considered and advice you have taken to inform your decision. So answer from me. Indirect pecuniary interest is not a type of interest in the Code of Conduct. There are three types of interest. Disclosable pecuniary interests, or DPIs, so this is things you receive payment for, like employment. This is also enshrined in the Localism Act and can give rise to criminal convictions. Other registerable interests, or ORIs, these are unpaid positions, so being a charity trustee, a school governor, and this is where unpaid directorships would sit. And third one is non-registerable interests, or NRIs. So this is anything else, so for example, if a contractor being considered by the council is your best friend or something like that. Since he became director, Councillor Artis has held an other registrable interest in the CIC. There is no provision in the Code of Conduct to have an ORI in advance of holding the position. In all situations, councillors must make their own decisions regarding their conduct using their own principles, regardless of the exact rules around interests. Under the Code of Conduct currently in force, an ORI only gives rise to a conflict of interest and therefore requires withdrawal from the room if there is a financial element or effect to the decision being taken. When the grant was being considered, Councillor Artis was the proposer for the item but was not its director, so did not hold an ORI. Being a proposer for an item does not in itself confer an interest. I asked for advice regarding the non-financial CIC items at the last meeting from the monitoring officer. She said she could not advise on specific conflicts of interest, but I should consider the perception of bias. Hence I advised Councillor Artis not to vote, even though it was not technically a conflict according to the Code. I attended Code of Conduct training recently at UBC and spoke to the trainer at length after the session about our various arising conflicts to clarify my understanding. Answer from Councillor Strutt is that it's the clerk's role to advise on Code of Conduct. Questions from Mick Howarth, and these are all regarding the Housing Development Survey. He asks, who will analyse the survey responses? Answer, the council will. It is a very simple survey and the council possess data and analysis tools needed. Question 2, will a report be produced for inclusion in the neighbourhood plan? Answer, yes, the survey was carried out as part of the neighbourhood plan, so yes, it will be included. Question 3, when do the parish council propose to hold a public exhibition to allow the parishioners the opportunity to review and discuss the results? Answer, the date of the public exhibition has been massively delayed due to the resignation of the previous neighbourhood plan steering committee. Had they stayed on board, we would have hoped to have held it in October 2025. With the workload and burden the judicial review has introduced, it is hard to say when we will be able to hold it. Following questions are from Tony Howarth. She asks, why did the parish council withdraw vital funding for the neighbourhood plan? Answer, it did not. There was adequate alternative funding by grants, so no additional funding was required from the parish council at that time. Once the government reduced its support for neighbourhood plans, the council stepped in to offer funding should be offered from the UDC, not cover costs. Question 2, why did the parish council halt work on the neighbourhood plan in May? To answer, the council asked the neighbourhood plan committee to pause until it updated the council on what the status of the neighbourhood plan was at working group meetings with all councillors, invited. Primarily, this was so the parish council could take stock of the body of work that had been done and the direction of the efforts going forward at a roundtable meeting. As you'll be aware, work by the neighbourhood plan working group, however, did not pause and continued where grant funding had been received. Question 3, why is the land survey so late to be delivered when it should have gone out in July? Answer, council has requested an amendment to the methodology at the July meeting, which was then accepted at the September meeting. It has been delivered as soon as practicable. Following questions are from Mick Howarth. I might get the time. Mick Howarth asked, the agenda of the September meeting had item reports from committees and working groups. Why didn't the planning group report their August meeting with Durkan against this item? Do you think perhaps there should be some formal requirement around reporting? Every meeting attended by a councillor should be either minuted or a report prepared to be shared with the council. The same should apply to working groups. Answer, working groups are less formal than committees. Requiring strict reporting from these groups may affect the current working style, which allows for flexibility. The councillors could propose to change standing orders to follow your suggestion. Question 2. Why is the CIC's list of projects needing funding not as exhaustive as the list proposed by the previous CIC at every meeting? Answer: yes, there will be a standing item for an update from the CIC. Right, last one. So, Carly Swain asked, regarding the creation of the CIC, I have some concerns in relation to this. I do not believe that housing decisions within the parish should be given to an unelected company of which the parish council will have no final control on decision making. My concern is that the directors of the CIC may be biased where housing should be allowed within the parish. Such an important decision in creating the CIC and handing over control should, I believe, be decided by the people who live in the parish and not solely by the parish council, who are a very small minority within the community. Can you confirm, please, that a village poll is being prepared for us to provide our opinions? I would be very surprised if the parish is not consulted in relation to this and would be very interested to know why. Answer: the resolution to endorse the Articles of Association and support the creation of the CIC has already passed. Community polls and other forms of referendum are not a regularly used part of the UK democratic process. The Council did not decide to hold a poll regarding these resolutions. The Parish Council are elected by the community to make decisions.
Can I just add to that? Part of the neighbourhood plan process, there will be a village survey anyway on the results. So there will be a poll, effectively, on the neighbourhood plan.
Right, the next thing, thank you.
Could I just jump in? There's a lot of questions there, so thank you for doing that. And can I just question to the audience, how have you found that process? I know, just a quick question.
No.
Can I ask a question?
I'll be quick.
They could have done a yes or no.
Okay.
How have you found it?
Apologies for absence. We have an apology from Councillor Murphy, that's the only one tonight.
Okay.
And Councillor Reeve. Declarations of interest, in light of they're slightly different, you have to bear with the terminology that some councillors may still use the older terminology. Has anyone got to starting round? Councillor Hunt? Councillor Beadle?
No.
A director of ordinary, what's it called? Another registrable interest as a director of the CIC. Got it right.
Councillor Amber?
I'm not sure what kind of interest you would call it, but as you are aware, if it's an interest that I need to declare here, then there's a judicial review from myself against the Parish Council. I don't think there's anything else. A non-registrable. I can't even say it.
I've said two words.
NRI. It's an NRI.
I am an employee of the school, and you have me down as having a disposable pecuniary interest. I'm not quite clear whether that is quite right, but I don't very well know the school because I have no authority or remit in the administration or the preparation of the finances for the school, and also treasurer, executive charge, but I don't think that's appropriate.
Under the new terminology, I think I have a non-registrable interest in the matter relating to judicial review and an other registrable interest as a trustee of the HBO Sports and Community Club.
I'm sorry, Denise, there's a planning application that's from you,
But
It's not planned.
That's the decision.
Oh, it's already decided.
Yeah.
Decided. Okay, the next item on the agenda is dispensations, item 25.10.7. To agree the following dispensations as requested during the last full council meeting. So, first one regarding me, so obviously I can't vote on this, but I'll read it out so everyone knows what it is. Council struck regarding the contractual annual maintenance fee to HBO of £9,000, not including future contractual negotiations, to be able to stay in the room and discuss and vote. Justification is that this figure is contractually agreed and cannot be altered by the council, to last for 4 years until needing to be reconsidered. So that's one. Anyone got anything to say?
I've got a question. I didn't see in the background papers the forms that have been submitted for these. Can you share them, please? Or have they not been done? It looks like they haven't been done. Okay, so in our code of conduct under section 13D, it says that dispensation requests shall be in writing and submitted to the proper officer as soon as possible before the meeting, or failing that at the start of the meeting for which the dispensation is required. So on that note, I would say that we would need to defer all of these to December because we can't vote on them, because we haven't followed our own code of conduct.
I've received them. I mean, these two came from the minutes of the last.
Can I see them then?
Yeah,
Because
they're in the minutes of the.
where's the form? Because when I asked the question, it looked like there wasn't the
It's
form.
not really form, it's just in writing.
Well,
Just sort of received by me and accepted it.
right. But that hasn't been provided in the background papers. And it
No, I
hasn't.
mean, this is all the detail there is.
No, that's what I'm saying. So in my personal opinion, we can't vote on these because we haven't followed our own code of conduct. So therefore we should defer these to the December meeting.
I don't think there's a specific form. It's just as long as I've received them, such
I've written to you. You've got my writing here, so you've got it in writing from me.
The other two were requested during the meeting, because they're.
But we've got a code of conduct, and so, I mean, so in terms of our code of conduct, there's quite a few, there's quite a few rules that we need to follow, and I can't see that there's any sense of urgency for these, so I don't understand why we can't defer them to December to make sure that we are completely following the code of conduct. So, it says here, a dispensation request shall confirm the description and nature of the interest and details. And the other thing is, in terms of when we're voting on changing dispensations, then it's normally would be if, for example, it would mean that the meeting was in quorum. Like, there have to be really specific reasons to change dispensations. So bearing in mind that we haven't seen any of those reasons, we haven't discussed, I don't think that it would make anything in quorum, and we haven't had this in writing. I don't think that as councillors we should vote on this because we haven't had the correct information, and therefore it should be deferred to December.
It doesn't have to be about being in quorum, it can be for any appropriate reason, and it just has to make sure it has to say what the dispensation is for, whether it means staying to when voting, what exactly you want to dispense, the justification for it, and how long the dispensation lasts for. So all the information is contained within the agenda. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's compliant. It's for any other appropriate.
As far as I'm concerned, it's not compliant. I genuinely believe that it's not compliant. So it says your dispensation may be granted in accordance with Standing Order 13 if, having regard to all relevant circumstances, the following applies. So one is, without the dispensation, the number of persons prohibited from participating would be so great a proportion of the meeting transacting the business as to impede the transaction of the business, or granting the dispensation is in the interest of persons living in the council's areas, and I don't think that either of those apply. It does say, if otherwise appropriate, to grant a dispensation, but in order to grant a dispensation, it has to be in writing before the meeting or at the start of the meeting, and as I haven't seen those dispensation requests in writing, I can't vote because I haven't seen that we've met the code of conduct. And if I can't vote because of that, I don't think anybody else should vote either.
I mean, I'm comfortable they're compliant. I would have to have a good reason not to put them on the agenda. So the question of whether it's appropriate or not is for you to decide. Essentially, it's not for me to make that judgment.
No, I'm not saying, but in terms of for the council to make that judgment, because it says clearly in our code of conduct that it should be done in writing before the meeting or at the start of the meeting.
Yeah.
So if it's that, then that should be shared to enable councillors to vote. And if we haven't got that information to vote, then I don't understand how we can justifiably vote.
All of the information is here. So from when I've spoken to other clerks, the receiving it in writing is mostly for my benefit, to make sure that I've got the information so I can put it on the agenda. There's no additional information that isn't on the agenda.
But all the information we need is here.
Yeah, that's all of the components of the dispensation.
And you've seen the request.
I think that there's two things. There's one, there's the matter at hand, and secondly, the process. So I think moving forward, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I can make sure it's more formal.
Yeah.
I
think that's
future
the
ones. Obviously,
suggestion.
I'm learning at the same time.
Yeah,
But,
no, absolutely.
from talking to other clerks, it was mainly, we ask for it in writing, because otherwise someone just says, oh, can I vote on that? And it's not a full, you need a proper request to come in. So it's not I don't feel it's prohibitive of it being on the agenda. I would
No.
have to have a very good reason not to. Essentially, if a councillor asks for something to be on the agenda, I have to have a very good reason not to.
Oh, it's not a criticism of you
Yeah, no,
in
sorry,
any
that's
shape or form. I'm just saying that as councillors, I don't believe we should be voting on something that we haven't seen the evidence of.
Right, on the first one, because I'm actually named in it, I'm going to ask Keith to chair this part.
Okay, 2510.7, 1A is dispensation for councillor Strutt regarding the contractual maintenance fee of HBO SCC at 9,600, not including future contractual negotiations, i.e. if anything further over and above the 9,600. To be able to stay in the room, discuss and vote. Justification is this figure is contractually agreed and cannot be altered by the council, therefore there's no financial implication. To last for 4 years until needing to be reconsidered. Can I have a proposer for that?
I'd like to ask the question.
Yeah, I need to take the proposal first. Proposal, any seconders? Yeah, okay, any comments from anybody?
It says in here that it's to last for 4 years, which I understand is the maximum allowable, but I also understand that normal procedure is it's reviewed annually. And for our council, an election is in 16 months, so I think that the 4 years is probably not relevant. And if the 9,600 is a contractual fee, and Councillor Strutt has a declared interest, but it's a contractual figure, I genuinely do not see the need for this dispensation.
It would be a conflict. You can't vote on any payments to the charity, even if we are contractually obliged to. Because technically, you could say it's anything that's a financial element would give him a conflict.
Yeah.
So,
But Councillor Strutt accuses himself of lying.
but it would mean he couldn't vote on precept because it includes the fee to the charity. Because it's part of the budget, it's part of that. You agree with.
But if you're applying that rule, then I can't vote on anything because of all high fees for school.
Well, that's why we've got a dispensation at the next point that was discussed at the last meeting.
I haven't asked for that. We'll talk about it in a minute.
We spoke about it at the last meeting as well.
Anybody else? Okay, can I have those in favour, please, of dispensation 1A? All those in favour, please.
Can I request a recorded vote, please?
Sure, yeah. We'll just hold the hands up for a second. Probably easy to be against.
Those against, please? 2 against, okay. And now, councillor. Okay.
So, the next one is, part B of this, is for Councillor Stedman regarding payments to the school, for the room hire in particular, to be able to stay in the room and discuss and vote. The justification is that this is a regular ongoing expense to last for 4 years until needing to be reconsidered. And the impact of those costs obviously impact the budgets and other decisions. So that makes it difficult, again, for the council to stay in the room for those budget discussions.
I'll propose it.
Yes, can I have a proposal?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Anyone got anything they want to say?
Yeah, I've got something I'd like to say. Councillor Stedman has just stated that she didn't ask for this. So if she didn't ask for it, you can't have a written request for it, so therefore we can't vote on it.
The request was passed from the last meeting.
But our code of conduct states that we have to have a request in writing. And if she didn't request it, you can't have one.
I thought she did.
My impression was that it was quite clearly requested during the meeting.
What, from me?
Yeah,
I think
when
so.
we were discussing the sort of.
No, I'm quite happy to get up and go out of the room, it's not.
Okay, sure.
Can I ask, please, because this is all getting caught up with like being able to vote on budgets, etc. Have we got any advice from the motion officer about this?
They don't give advice.
They won't give advice on conflicts of interest. I've tried.
So who says that if we're in this then we can't vote for the budget?
In the code of conduct, it says if there's a financial effect to the decision, especially because yours is a DPI, because it's your employment, that you can't, that you have a conflict. So because when we're passing the budget, there's a budget for room height, which would be for here. It's, especially because it's DPI, I've always advised to err on the side of caution, because it's a.
Well, I would like to see advice on that.
So did we just put a line through this then?
Yes, I mean, the issue would be then
Don't want the
finance
discussion,
item.
Okay, let's move on.
Move on.
To agree the following dispensations, the first one is requested by me, so I'm going to ask Keith to chair the first one on this list.
Okay, dispensation, item 2 is to agree the following dispensation requested by Councillor Strutt, which is, as you can read there, whose interest in the judicial review as a trustee and interested party regarding the main council budget, but not including the judicial review budget itself or any other judicial review related items. Justification is that the main budget is implicated by the judicial review, but to a lesser extent than the actual judicial review items. And the chair of the council should have input regarding the main council budget to last for 4 years until it needed to be considered. So whilst an explanation, whilst he has recused himself on voting on any judicial review matters, this is to give him dispensation to vote on the overall budget with the knowledge that the judicial review items have already been voted upon and included in the budget. So can I have a proposal for that, please? Yeah, Kevin. Seconder, please. Denise, okay. Any comments on this?
Yeah, I've got a question. Can I just clarify? So, just so that we're absolutely sure, so to clarify, so Councillor Strutt and Councillor Artis, you're confirming that you put these requests in writing to the clerk before the meeting,
Yes.
and you're confirming that you received them? Cool. So can I have a copy of those emails, and so I can confirm the date that those requests, can you forward those on? Because obviously it's quite important. If we're voting
Yeah, sure.
with regards to the code of conduct, you can forward those emails on so they've got the dates, so we know. Thank you.
Any other comments on 2A? No, can I have a vote then, please? All those in favour of 2A? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. 5. Those against? 2 against. And back to you, Mark.
Okay, the next one is
Did you vote on that?
You voted for
Yes.
this?
I voted for.
For it.
Oh, of course you are.
to agree the following dispensation requested by Councillor Artis. Councillor Artis, for his interest in the broader community investments, to be able to stay in the room and discuss but not vote. Justification given is that the company is working for the benefit of the parish and has a memorandum of understanding with council. So we're working to the common aims to last for 4 years until needing to be reconsidered.
Can I just add to that the only reason for this is obviously I can't vote on any community interest investments motions, but stay in the room, to be available to ask questions and give a report. That's all this dispensation is for.
Question, what if I'm not elected next time round?
It doesn't apply.
It doesn't apply. Doesn't apply.
It's like saying one
Yeah.
It's only by the council.
Right,
I think that's a foregone conclusion.
just for clarity.
I've got a question. Sorry,
Yeah.
is it alright?
Yeah, I'm about to.
Oh, sorry. I preempt it. Yeah, obviously I've not been involved in the last few meetings and I haven't watched any of the videos. So I just wondered, is the justification is that the company is working for the benefit of the parish? Just wondering whether Councillor Artis could just explain briefly how the CIC is working for the benefit of the parish, because I have missed that, and in order for me to vote, it would just be nice to have a summary.
There is a community investments company report later on in the agenda.
So do you want to switch the order then? Would that help? Just so you can answer the question.
You could answer the question now.
Well, it is a company which has been set up as a community interest company which has an asset log. It also has been established as a community land trust and is part of the community land trust network for the purposes of holding land for the provision of affordable social housing for residents of the village or returning residents or those with a local connection in perpetuity outside of any right to buy or shared ownership provisions in various acts. So the principle is that it is to try to obtain benefit from developers that intend to develop land and landowners that intend to develop land around the village upon land which we have to provide the houses which we are, I'm saying, being forced to provide by Uttlesford District Council's local plan. Therefore, the view of the council was that if we are having to provide these houses, then on the principle of there should be a slice of the cake for everybody, that the parish, the residents and the community should seek some benefit from these developments. So that's the purpose of the community interest company, and it is, as I will report later on, we are holding an open meeting next Wednesday in this hall here, where we will present the principles behind the CIC, the company, the CIC and CLT company, what we have achieved so far and how we intend to continue with our community engagement.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Can I just ask Councillor Artis that when he sits and listens, when he's sitting in on this, that he doesn't use his sales technique as a sway, not a sway, but to sit there, and it's very difficult for him because he can't do it, but he will if he just says he will. That's
And then you respond to questions asked.
Any other questions? Can I have? Sorry.
You've stated that advice cannot be given from a motion officer on all of these, and
The monitoring officer won't
won't give advice.
not
Have you
cannot be given, they won't.
have we asked?
I asked once for advice, and I'm getting kind of stronger pushback saying, I can't give advice on specific things, and so
So they won't give advice on dispensations.
So those specific conflicts of interest, they are only there for registered interests and for code of conduct complaints, not for active.
I am concerned about the dispensations. I am concerned about following standing orders. In respect of the one for Councillor Artis, I understood that the point of appointing Councillor Beadle to be our nominated director was that Councillor Beadle would be able to be feeding back all the information that Councillor Artis has just stated. So I don't understand why that is necessary this time.
Do you want to say that, or anyone else?
No, I mean, people want to know what I've been doing as well as Councillor Beale or any of the other directors, then that's what this dispensation is for.
Okay, can I have a proposer, please? Seconder? Councillor Beale? Can I have a show of hands, all those in favour? And those against?
I'll abstain, obviously. Recuse myself from that vote.
Okay, finance. 25.10.8, finance and payments. Item 1 on this. To consider budget for a tree survey of the recreation ground and the Andes Park. So for the last 4 years, we've been doing tree surveys of these two areas. I think it's only 4, well, in one case 3, another 4, might be 5. And that was pointed out when we hadn't done the village green for years, that we actually had other trees that we weren't surveying. So now that we don't have the village green, the tree survey cost should be much lower. Did we get a quote back?
I'm still chasing, but it was 1,500 in the village green, so it's going to be considerably less, as most of the trees were village green. So it's more just looking to do a sort of indicative budget so that then we can get on with it.
So set a budget.
Set budget.
Ideally, yes, and obviously we're still trying to come in as low as possible with the quote.
If we take out the church contingent on 600-700.
A lot of it's just willing to come out. So, I mean, my guess would be it's obviously not going to be as much as last year because the village green is by far the biggest area. The number of trees on the Andes path that we're responsible for, which is only from blank. I only did the garden there for 10 years. From about 2/3 of the way along to Cage End is where we're responsible. And obviously the recreation ground has several trees within it. So we need to agree a figure to give us some leeway for doing this. Any questions?
We've got any quotes?
We'll wait for the quote.
However, the Scout Hut land, the trees on that, would that fall within our
Yes.
resources too?
Definitely.
Well, I suppose when we get the quotes, we might consider that.
Well,
That
sorry.
take a
Why
stab
not?
at £500.
If it's
you want to
helpful, I
start.
know that we use, but if it's helpful, I can pass on the.
If you
Yeah.
pass on those details, because the people we used last year haven't got back to us yet. We were expecting to have a quote by now.
I can forward that to, back to the fund.
Yeah, I was intending to have the quote by the
Can I propose this, please?
What would you do?
That we consider a budget and then consider 600?
Yeah, is that a figure that people are happy with?
Well, what do you think it's going to cost?
I don't know, 600-700 would be
If it's
kind of
600,
like.
if it's more
Yeah,
than that, it would be
we'll come
another.
back.
Is it just to look after the trees or?
No, it's just to do the survey.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
do the survey.
But 600 is good. I think it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Are we happy with
600,
600?
as long as you think it's
Is
enough.
that a survey as in the condition
Yes.
of the trees? Yeah.
Okay, so we have a proposal that we consider a budget of £600 to carry out a tree survey at the recreation ground and the Andes Park, as proposed by Councillor Stedman. Can I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Webb. Can I have a show of hands, please? Carried unanimously. Next, we need to note the bank balances in the Lloyds account and Unity Trust account go to the clerk, because I haven't looked.
No, I've just realised I haven't put it down. I'll just find it.
Okay, the clerk will log in. While the clerk's logging in, if we can, we'll move to the next item and come back. To consider the payment schedule in the background papers and note the payments that have been made between meetings. There's a lot of background papers. So, for agreement at this meeting, there are two items which are to do with the judicial review. So councillor Ambler needs to be through those. So the payments for agreement at this meeting are to hold up, break the screen, aren't they?
Yes, you're still conflicted though.
Sorry, I'm conflicted as well.
Oh, right.
Sorry, wrong solicitors. Those top two payments.
Okay, there's two payments here. Hurry up. Two to Burkitt's. Yeah, 1,920. Preparation of the draft transfer deed, and 1,032 for public law advice. I would say that we have asked for a breakdown of these costs, and until we get that, we won't pay them. But we need to approve them just in case.
Yes, I've got a breakdown of the 800, but not of the other. I haven't
Okay.
looked at it.
So what I'm asking for, I think, here is a provisional approval, subject to sufficient information being provided to satisfy the clerk. So, can I have
Yeah,
I'll propose those?
Yeah,
Seconded. Councillor Craig, all those in favour?
yeah.
Okay, done. Thank you.
Struck and come back.
Just, well, an hour and a half. Right, go.
Original by financial manager as well.
These two in particular,
Which ones are we looking at?
Okay, so we're now to just, we voted on the ones for agreeing at this meeting, and now we're just making a note of those made between meetings under the chair and clerk powers. There was Matthew Planters who Matthew Plants who provide plants for the planters, TBS Hygiene who do the litter bins and dog waste bins. There was a safety sign which I paid for on my card, paid for me. Some more TBS Hygiene which we had a few months worth where we'd missed paying them because their invoices fell between meetings. And then there was room hire.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
TBS Hygiene.
Yeah.
The one for £252.
Yeah.
Some of that relates to the village green.
That was when it was still ours.
Because it says it's for the 4 weeks, the 28th of June to the 25th of July, and for the 4th of July to the 18th of July in the actual invoice.
where was I meant to them?
And that amounts to £126.
If that's the case, I will
Get a refund.
get a refund on that
Yeah.
section.
Cool.
I'll find it out. I'll find if it has. Yeah,
It's just,
Yeah.
No, I've just misread that. I will get the refund.
thank you.
Thank you. And then under previous resolutions, we have grass cutting at Barry Newman carried out. The felling of the trees on the Anlings path, the installation of the bench at the village green, which was carried out earlier in the year, bollard on Cage End, room for hire for meetings. So these are the CIC ones that fall under the setting up of the CIC. There was room hire. There was the community land trust. Yeah. Membership and another room hire. There was pension funds where we.
That's not for the CIC, am I?
No, we're short funded. Salary and expenses, legal fees for the JR, another CIC website hosting, and then for school hire. Then there's the direct debits, which include bank service charges, mobile card users account, so NI, and the council VoIP phone system, and that's a lot. Right, we need to get Vanessa back in, don't we?
No, because you can't do one project. So
Oh,
we
okay.
do that up to after.
We'll do the main budget and then Vanessa back. We're going to 5, so we can get Vanessa. Well, there's a request from the Citizen Advice Bureau which affects the budget that was circulated, and they've asked for some money to be included or added into the budget.
Given some charts showing
What's the recommendation?
well, it gives examples as low as £30.
What can I do, give them 50 quid then? 100 quid? What's the recommendation?
We've got to recommend what the people.
Well, it said £30 will pay for a phone advice session, £100 for a depth appointment, £250 they can spend a day in a village, people ask the holy isn't it? Where up to 10 clients we go see them. I think anything beyond that's probably beyond our level.
What people that want to go in, what level we want to go in.
We've got 14, my reckoning, we've got £1,400 left in the grant budget.
So 250 you're suggesting?
100 or 250,
250?
From the
I mean,
grant budget.
to
Yeah,
make,
then to do a thing in the village.
yeah, they make a request every year. So this is, I think, the first time we've ever paid for it. So
Well, we have done it in the past. Well, we'll do it in the grant, from this year's grant budget. Yeah, and get them in so people can actually use them here. I think. Can I have the proposer?
You're proposing it?
250?
yeah, I'm proposing 250.
Okay, second. Okay. All those in favour? Right, to agree the main budget for 2026, considering the judicial review budget's already hopefully been set. The main budget amount plus the reserves rebuilding amount in accordance with the judicial review decision that happened earlier.
So, Kerry, for this one was a judgment call for you because the room hire fees are included. So I appreciate it isn't it's not like we're giving £10,000 to the school for it as a regular fee. So
It's never been called into question before. I will not vote on anything relating to the school. I did have some issues with the figure work earlier with the budget.
Okay, so we've all seen the budget. Can we go round with questions? Councillor Beadle, if there's anything you want to say at this stage?
No, I'm quite happy with that.
That's right.
No.
Councillor Webb?
I think it's exhausted. No.
No, okay. Councillor Stedman, you've got some questions?
Yeah, I had some questions about, and I know you did start to answer some of them. It was to do with the fact that we have a reserve showing 48,000, and if the recommendation is to keep approximately 25% of precept, I don't believe that we needed to raise the precept quite as significantly as said. There are some figures in what Amy has produced which I'm not clear about. Salary, no disrespect, but it's going up by, you've put in that this year it's 20 and predicted for 30. The grass cutting is stated to be 5,000, which seems to be a lot just for the rec and farm field.
It's not just the Wrecking Bar, but
Okay, and Broad Street.
and the school and the High Street.
So the reason that I was questioning them was so that they could be explained.
Do you want me, I can go through the logic. So the salary one, this year there was 4 months where there was no salary payments made at all because there was no clerk. So that has sort of warped the figure slightly. The hourly rate also goes up slightly every year, so it's kind of around that as well. Obviously is an estimate, it's just to make sure that it's covered.
So there's likely to be a pay scale change because of experience. Then there's the annual pay rise that gets set outside of this council and we get imposed on us. Plus I did job clerk for 4 months for nothing, which makes a big difference to the annual figures at the third of the year. So
It's tough at the top.
Can I just clarify, because I know that you're doing so much extra, but how many hours are you actually contracted for?
My original contract was 15 hours a week.
Yeah.
It's ended up, I mean, it's hard to think of the exact figure. I mean, this last month was a lot of overtime, like 40 hours overtime.
So the additional hours is 40.
Yeah, for this month. That was higher than any other. But yes, I don't think I'm ever getting under 20 off the top of my head. But,
Right while this is going on.
yeah,
And the grass cutting, we were going to obtain quotes, is that
so
correct?
the grass cutting is calculated on the basis of what we're doing at the moment. Obviously the difficulty with that is, as we've said, that working out what we're doing with that, we won't be doing until we're nearer to the growing season. So, you know, getting quotes now for cutting grass in April are not going to be good quotes. So 5,000 is a rough estimate if we continue using the same contracts that we are now.
I've got to say, it's the best it's looked while he's been doing it.
So
The
that's-
spring ground
that's-
and all the apparatus is brilliant.
So yeah.
Thanks.
Just, can I just try and summarise for the benefit of the meeting anyway? Last year was what, 81?
80 dead on.
80 dead on, okay. So this year, including just general inflation, without anything to do with the judicial review, 89?
86.
86, okay. And I've looked at so many of these. So if you add the 65 to the 86, that is what we're projecting the precept to be. Okay. Which is 151,000, yeah? The 86 plus 65.
And 15 is already in the budget.
Yeah, hang on, that doesn't
You put
work.
65, I think it's only 50 gets added to that.
No, that's 65. No.
Oh, it's 15 as well.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
think,
it is 150.
so it is 150, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because this doesn't include the judicial review budget at all, including the 15 that we've already spent.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's
that's
150.
the budget stuff.
So it's 151, and just going back to Councillor Stebbins' point, if the reserves are 48, then that leaves reserves of 30% on 151.
The guidance reserves is 3 to 12 months, so obviously there's a lot of.
So those reserves are as required. Okay.
Right, can I have a proposal for that budget? Can I have a second? can we get?
It's a yes or no. It's a yes or no. Have we received the 6,000 from charity?
Yes.
When did we receive that?
November the 5th or 6th, so just after these figures.
5th of November. Thank you.
I think it might be the 6th. I'll check.
Sorry, I knew it was in there very quick. Appreciate that.
We're just jumping back to the bank balances
Oh,
because
okay.
that's something you've been in the room for, so we juggle it around.
No worries.
Maybe going up and down.
That's fine, thank you.
So, try and. Okay. So,
So balance in Unity is £24,150.96. And the balance on the 7th of November in Lloyd's, it won't let me log in, but I've got the statement, was £70,950.84. Sorry, 17,000.
okay, so that's the bank balances. The next thing on the agenda is the minutes of the previous meeting. So for Vanessa's benefit, sorry, we agreed to pay £250 for citizens' advice so they could hold a session in the village. So people from the village could actually attend and budget advice. Right, so minutes. So we have to. Has everyone read the minutes?
Can I just ask a question? Is that all right? Is this an appropriate time? Is that all right? I was just wondering, with regards to, it's just a clarification question. So in terms of the main budget, obviously I appreciate that the whole judicial review part of it is not something I can get involved with, but is there a reason why I can't discuss the rest of the budget?
You can now, sort of, on any payments thing. It was because part of the conversation was, because the judicial review is happening, are we doing anything with the budget? So it's a very intrinsically linked decision.
So, I just want to double check. So all of the budget for next year has been agreed and I've not been able to vote on that?
The precept level, the budget categories are always flexible anyway, so it's not a... Yeah, in principle, yes. In practice, the budgets move around within the total.
Yeah, I just wondered if that was the right thing.
It's a very difficult, that's why I wasn't...
appreciate it's difficult, I do
it's difficult
understand
to
that.
judge, but I think because the conversation did stray to the judicial review while we were discussing, as I suspected it might, I think it was the right call.
Okay. So going forwards, I'll be able to comment
Yeah, so now...
on the rest of the budget?
Yeah, on normal sort of non-judicial review payments and things.
Yeah.
Okay. The minutes of the previous meeting. Comments on the minutes.
Yeah, just one point. On page 4, item 2, we seem to be recording the every thought of Councillor Stedman. It's already said earlier on, page 3, that she expressed uncertainty regarding the amendments. And then again on page 4, it says Councillor Stedman reaffirmed her preference to wait. I mean, do we have to record all of these things? We should already said it's already recorded once.
I'm firmly in favour of the minutes recording the decisions, not people's opinions. I don't think that's the point of minutes.
I'd like to propose that the minutes are okay with the exception and that item is deleted.
Okay, so we vote on the amendment first.
Because I'm proposing we just delete that point.
Okay, so we'll make that change.
Just make that
Okay,
change.
so
Yeah.
we have happy to vote for that?
Well, I didn't attend, so I won't.
Okay. Can you suggest that change?
Same, I can't.
Okay. Those in favour of the minutes with that change? Who's,
Your
Yeah.
second.
those against? Okay, carried. Usually the casting vote. Right, reports from district councillors. Councillor Driscoll.
Sorry, did we agree the whole minutes or was it just
Yes,
the minute we did?
Will we agree the whole minute?
Oh, then subject to that, subject to
That was
the caveat.
Reports from district councillors. Councillor Driscoll gave me a quick update before he left. He says the local plan consultation is finished on the 27th of October. It's either been submitted or about to be submitted, and at the moment the feedback's positive. The local government reform, they're waiting for an announcement on when consultation on that will begin, and also what and who it's been consulted with. They're not sure whether that's going to be councillor level, district councillor level, parish councillor level, or the public at large. The mayoral election for Essex will be in May 2026. That will be the first one. And if it all goes ahead, which it's expected to, no one knows what shape it's going to be in. The first election for the unitary councillors will be in May 2027. And he spoke to me about some funds, possibly for road safety, so I'll circulate that with the councillors later. So that was from Councillor Driscoll. We didn't have anything from anybody else.
I'm not sure if it's appropriate now, Mark, or not. So I'll ask you. Councillor Barker, we have a new VAS on Feathers Hill.
Yes, we have a working on that.
We have a working VAS on Feathers Hill. Solagen, who installed it, got in touch with me. They apologised for the date in responding to me, but said that they installed it actually in August. I approached Sarah Tomlin from Essex Highways to see if that was the magic pot of money that she had said that we might have earlier in the year, if you remember. She said it didn't come from her, although this order was placed by Telent, who are subcontractors of Essex County Council. So Sarah Tomlin suggested that this may have been put forward under Councillor Barker's remit, and I just wondered if we can clarify that and extend our thanks to her.
We'll email her and find out. That's a good idea.
Yeah, replace the whole thing.
Yeah.
We need the whole thing.
The whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it's just need to do demo road because that's not working.
It's intermittent.
Yes.
It works on the way out of the room.
But I wasn't sure whether this was applicable now as the district
That's
county
fine.
council or highways. So
As long as we cover it, that's fine.
If you're sitting in the park, Duke said you can see that one lights up a lot and it's going out of the room.
Not
Coming in, I don't believe it.
Can we just turn it around?
We'll get it fixed somehow. We'll chase the people.
I thought it's probably lack of sunlight as well. You know, charger batteries.
But if that's not the pot that Sarah Tomlin was hoping she might have, then there might be a possibility through the road safety pot that you alluded to earlier, or if that money really does get to Sarah Tomlin, then we might be able to get the other one repaired.
Okay, that's fine. Well, that's covered off highways probably for later as
Yeah.
well. Reports on councillors' actions and meetings attended. So the only action that I have as a councillor is I asked for in response to the local residents that live opposite, I've had the lights removed on the site. I think I actually reported this last meeting, didn't I?
On the blue lights.
Yes.
The one
Anybody else got anything to report?
No.
Reports from committees and working groups. We need to appoint a company to complete pedestrian entrance and pond safety improvements of the village green up to an agreed budget. So this is one that I need to leave the room for and ask Councillor Artis to chair, and I believe Councillor Amber needs to leave the room as well. Because we like youngers. Chair's bit.
Yep.
Let's go fast.
Okay, thank you. We have received 4 quotations. You've had the quotations in an email. The recommendation is that we use company 2 on the list.
Oh, there was a correction I need to make. I listed one of them as having local connections, but it was the Blackman's one that's got local connections, the KRB one.
That's the really expensive one.
Yes,
Yeah.
there were 2 that were astronomical and then 2 that were not.
Yeah.
Did they have a specification to work from, or were they just looking at the bottom?
Yeah, no, they had the same.
Same
They were at the same
specification.
specification.
Yeah. So we have thank you for that. And we have quotes from four companies. You've had the quotations. Company 1 does have local connections, but complete the specification properly. We have company 2, which is indeed a Hatfield Broad Oak contractor, which is the second lowest. And we had 2 other contractors, 3 and 4, who were beyond their budget. So the recommendation is that we take company 2, which is a local company.
Yeah, I agree.
So can I have, yes, first of all, can I have a proposer for that?
Proposer?
Okay, seconder? Seconder. Okay, any comments?
I would just like to, I've heard rumour and I'm not sure whether it's correct or not, and I would just like to be sure, are we allowed to instigate work on Village Green while the judicial review is underway? Is there advice on that?
I asked the solicitor and they said because she hasn't applied for a stay of the contract, it's unchanged as far as we're concerned.
Okay.
So we would be in breach of contract if we did anything.
Good question.
Please can I have some of it?
Yes, and it's within the grounds as well.
And the other thing, I'm really sorry, but I have muddled up the contractors. So could I just pass them to Amy so she can put the numbers on for you?
Yeah, it's in number 2 on the list.
So that's the one that was recommending.
Okay.
That's one of the astronomical ones. This was the other one that was reasonable, but they're not as local.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to recuse myself from this vote because I know this vote.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
So it's number 2 on the list, yes, which is all seasons.
Yes. Just a quick question.
Yeah.
I haven't read it, but I haven't seen it. It doesn't stand out. The price includes the VAT.
So on this one, there's no VAT. He's not.
He's not VAT rated. No, that's fine. That's okay.
Good question.
Well, we get it back anyway.
Yes, but it's
whether
it's figures. It's
Yeah.
I asked that on the incentive.
Okay, can I have a vote to accept the quotation then? All in favour? Okay.
Can we afford it?
Those against? It's an obligation. Those against?
No.
No?
Can't vote.
Oh, no.
I understand the obligation, but can we afford it?
No, it's voted for. Yeah.
I mean, it's job that wants to do it, so it's...
Yeah, it is. It is. Is there anything else before the other councillors return? No, I don't think we're going to get
These are all,
yeah, it's yeah.
Neighbourhood Plan Steering Committee update. We need a steering committee meeting ASAP. I'll circulate an email for dates. The survey's out, and been delivered to most households. There's a couple that got missed. We've got one round. So that's 5 premises that I know have been missed. The survey, the neighbourhood.
But there's probably, if you've got something given to me, because what
Yeah.
there's like one, it's about what, maximum 10 houses where I am.
Oh, I didn't deliver you one, just because you want to be part of this.
like a bit of paper on it.
Alright, okay, I'll try to distribute it. Just because the obvious.
The 2 houses in the grounds of the Cock, I've delivered them, and there's 2 that are right on the edge of the village.
I just want to bungalows behind the cop.
Yeah, they get missed on quite a few things. People forget they're there.
What's the matter?
Yeah, no, that's fine. They've had them now. Yeah, the one that you asked me to do, I haven't done.
Okay, I've sent in the PDF and the link.
Right, okay. You'll be all right. Technical. Right. Any recommendations or reports from any committees or working groups not covered elsewhere? Okay, the report from the Broad Oak Community Investment Company.
Okay, just to reiterate some of the things I said earlier, the company is now registered with Companies House and the regulator as a community interest company. Its articles of association comply with the requirements of the Companies House regulator. The company has also become a community land trust, which enables the company to hold land for the benefit of providing affordable social housing in perpetuity in the village. And it's also a member of the CLT network, the Community Land Trust Network. And following that, I also attended a meeting of the inaugural meeting of Community Land Trusts in Essex, organised by the RCCE yesterday to share experience of other CLTs and companies that are, or organisations, whether it be organisations or legal entities that are looking to become CLTs in Essex for the purpose of providing affordable housing. The other thing I would say is that as part of commitment to openness, transparency and community engagement, the company is holding a Hear and Ask public meeting next Wednesday, the 19th of November, here in the school hall. We will update residents on progress we have made, canvass for ideas and have a healthy discussion on the direction of the company to achieve the maximum benefits for our community. So hopefully everybody that's here will promote that meeting next Wednesday at the school hall in this location. We'll give a presentation as to what we've been doing so far and what achievements we've made, which are hopefully people will respect as very constructive. So that's all I have to report at the moment. We'll reveal more at the meeting on the 19th, which is next Wednesday. So everybody watching the video, I hope they will come along.
Cool. Anyone got anything to say before we move on to the next item? Okay. Committee membership to consider the appointment of a councillor to the planning working groups after Councillor Brown leaving that working group.
I've named this one specifically because it's currently in quorum. The other committees, she was on, I can't remember her head now, a couple of others, but they already have 4 people. So the rest is just sort of preference for the planning working group is currently in quorum.
So anyone
so is it Councillor Artis and Beadle?
Yes, at the moment.
Okay, so can I just ask that in terms of, so if Councillor Artis and Beadle are on the planning committee and Councillor Artis and Beadle were both on the CIC, just wondered if we could have a discussion as to whether that's appropriate or whether we should look at opening up the membership of the planning working group so that we've got a wider spread within the council.
But it is to consider the appointment of a councillor to the council planning working group.
Yeah, I'm happy to put my name forward. Anyone else?
Councillor Ambrose wants to take the whole control. I'm not interested in working.
Another reason. Anyone else? Fancy joining the planning group? Kerry?
You obviously
Ben?
don't read the notes
What knows?
about the planning group. Those that resigned or put through the cut on the last one can't go on this one.
No,
That's the neighbourhood plan.
Well, that's the same thing, isn't it?
No,
No,
this is
it's
just
not.
this is the
Never
planning.
was.
I'm not
Plan
interested.
applications and things like that.
Kerry? Ben?
Not for this one, thanks.
You still need one more person for the quorum.
Defer it till we have other people.
Defer it.
I'm more interested and we'll get there in a minute.
Do they, if it's a working group, do people need to be on the council? Or can it be members of the public?
You have to have a council.
So it has to be, I think, 3 councillors and then you can have other,
Right.
but that's the sort of thing that's, you know, can change.
So the initial amendment is to appoint another councillor to it. If that's Councillor Amber, then that would mean 2. If it's not Councillor Amber, then it would mean 1. Is there anyone else prepared to go on it? Well, I think we need a planning working group, so I'll have to go on it.
The planning working group is only to review planning applications that are submitted. It's not to do anything else.
Okay, so we have a choice then. We have that those that would like to vote for Councillor Ambler as representative, and then we will be short one person on it. Can I have a show of hands?
I'll withdraw it as well.
Yeah, that's a no. So
Yeah.
we'll be short
I'll withdraw it
2
as well.
people if that happens.
Yeah.
All those in favour of that as a solution?
What is the solution then?
Well,
Two out, 1 in?
Yeah.
So it doesn't, then you're not chorus, there's no point.
So yes,
Defer it.
exactly. The other option is that I will stand on it and join the existing working group.
So 2 out, 2 in.
No,
No, I think the plan is that they'll step down to prevent me from being on the working planning group, which doesn't seem like a very mature or professional approach to me.
After what we're going through, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think you've got to bloody cheat.
It's ridiculous. And it's personal.
Can I
It's
suggest,
personal.
can we stop it? Can we just defer this and move on? Does it have to be done today?
well, we can't make any planning decisions on
Do we have
planning
any?
application. Every month we have some come through. Potentially. So the option will carry on. The only option to carry on is that I join it because no one else will. And then we'll have 3.
Have we got any applications that need to be looked at now?
They come in every month.
I know, but have we got any that we need to
I
look
don't
at
know.
now?
But the full council's vote on it though.
So they're all delegated decision.
I don't think there's any way of changing. I don't think there's any comments on any of these.
No.
Nothing to worry about any of them.
No.
But next month there will be, probably.
So I'm going to propose that I will stand. Can I have a second for that?
What's happening next month?
Hmm?
Is it
Well,
something
we
expected?
get another lot of planning
Oh, okay,
applications.
so
as well.
nothing, alright.
And there's lots of posters up around the village.
So
that people
Councillor
are applying for
Artis.
planning, so.
And Councillor Beadle, Councillor Artis proposer, Councillor Beale, prepared to second it, that I will join that working group for the interim. Can I have a show of hands, all those in favour of that, so that we have a planning working group?
What about Councillor Handler?
Then we don't have a planning working
We
group
haven't
anymore. You don't have enough members.
Okay. So are you still going to continue? Are you still saying yes? You'd like to be involved?
I'm saying I'm happy to be involved, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So how does that
But
work?
then we have a separate vote if we want to do that.
Okay, all right.
But then you lose those two, so we're back to no
Sure,
no
I
working
understand.
group. So the proposal is that I join those two on the working group. That's what's been proposed and voted on.
On a separate question, if I may,
Can we
Yes.
can we vote on this issue?
well, it's quite relevant actually, sitting here. Bearing in mind you're both interested in the CIC, are you allowed to stand on the planning group?
It's about individual planning applications for houses and things like that.
Only
So
they had a planning
if it was a CIC one, then that would be different. I can see that could be a problem in the future.
That's
But in the
where
short
my
term,
head is
yeah.
going.
No, I agree, it's a potential problem.
Okay. Let's move.
So we've had a proposer and a seconder and a call to vote. Can we vote on me joining Councillor Beadle and Councillor Artis on the working group? All those in favour?
Do we run that?
Yeah.
But I'm just confused about how. If everyone says yes now, then what? How does that work? You can also join.
No, I can't, because if I join,
Then
Then,
it goes back to
um,
this.
It's crazy.
Yes, it's difficult. It's going to be.
Yeah. No, it's I
I think we
understand.
should defer it.
it's like just bring my challenges,
So-
Amy.
And give it some thought.
So we've got 3 people voting.
Interim, yes.
Yes.
Yes,
that's
interim.
right. So,
Yes.
so we've got 4 people voting for.
Interim. Yeah. Right.
Against or abstaining?
I'm going to abstain because this is
Okay.
Yeah,
ridiculous. So.
I'm going to abstain if I'm.
Okay, and 3 people abstaining, I think. Is that correct? And 3 abstaining, so
No,
it's
no,
okay.
I'm not staying, I'll vote for it.
You're voting for it?
Vote for it.
Thank you. So 5 for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
The next one is to consider any other requests to join committees or working groups. Are there any other requests at this point? Anyone?
I think when appropriate, I'd like to re-engage with the neighbourhood planning group
You'd like to come back?
at some point, yeah,
Yeah, okay, thank you. They'd be happy to, would,
next year.
correspondence and key task update, this is for you. Amy.
Yeah, I don't think I've got much to say really, guys, have already been covered. The main thing I want to highlight, I've had the paperwork come through. If you remember, you resolved to accept a quote for the village sign repair, about £1,800. I've had the thing now to sort of sign on the dotted line for the order. I just wanted to sense check, given that this was a while ago, that you still want me to do this. It's payable upon return of the sign, which will take, so it's unknown when it will be supposed to start. Once that happens, it's a month for it to come back, but I'll just hesitating to sign it. I know there's a resolution, but I just wanted to have a sense check
Yeah.
before I send anything off this.
I think it's particularly appropriate, given that it was Des that designed the original sign. And remember, sort of him, I would be very keen for this to go through personally.
When we agreed to this,
Yep.
I believe it was on the basis that payment would not be needed until the following year's precept, so the following year's budget. Because I'm sure that
It's not
we
going to
said,
go through instantly anyway.
no, I appreciate that, but obviously I think we
It's a
agreed,
3-month wait.
Yeah.
we agreed it, didn't we, on the basis that it would be paid out of next year's budget, so I'm assuming that's in the budget
Yes.
calculations already for next year.
Yes, it will fall into next year because it's going to be 3 months before it's picked up.
At least 3 months, plus a month of them, that will get us through
Yeah,
into
I
next year.
just hesitated before I signed it. I just wanted to flag it up.
Just
Quick question, plenty of notice.
once say take it away, there'll be a hole.
Put a picture in, put the picture
I'm
on.
asking, is that how
Well,
we're gonna,
Yeah, probably.
what can you do?
Just want to put a plastic sign up in between, I don't think.
No.
No, you just leave
But
it.
if it's out there that it's done,
Yeah.
then
we could put a notice maybe on the pole just saying, you know,
Yeah.
it's not been stolen.
Okay, let's keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there anything else on the key task, Amy?
No.
Right, thank you. Policies. To consider instructions for the clerk on how to approach social media. Previously, we had a no engagement policy, partly because the previous clerk was that way inclined, and partly because we felt that was the best approach. Experience on social media is it's a real rabbit hole, and people come up with some very bizarre theories and very aggressive theories on it. And I think we need to be careful about responses, but Amy is of the generation that is more social media savvy than most of us. So, thoughts going around the table.
What is this?
So, basically, when I joined, the previous clerk
Yeah.
had essentially used Facebook as a notice board. So, comments off,
Mm.
you know, that sort of thing. The first things that the main village group now won't let the comments be off. If I post with the comments off, it gets deleted and reposted by an admin with the comments on, which feels a bit daft. And there's nothing in any of our policies that says I can't comment on things. Hence, I have sort of tested the water, if you like, in the last sort of week or so. Mixed experience, must say. But I'm happy to carry on. I think partially, obviously, we've been silent for so long that I think it's natural to get maybe a little bit of blowback when, you know, rearing your head up. But yeah, I just wanted to get some.
I was going to say, I would agree. I mean, there is such rubbish posted on Facebook. I'm not on it myself, but I have sent it. It was something that the other day, Spiny Norman said something about the council can't delegate its responsibilities on the section. Absolutely baloney. The council hasn't delegated its responsibilities at all.
Okay, well,
I mean, it's just, garbage.
let's not talk about
That's
specifics.
really where
So while we're saying leave comments on or off, is what's
Well,
the
this is
question?
We have no choice if we go on the village.
Yeah, if you want comments off, then I can't.
Well, leave it, I think leave them open.
And it's just, I mean, my view, I would just sort of like discretion to leave comments where I think I can give an easy answer. There's been once or twice where I've said, you know, that's not for me to answer, but if you send it as an email, I can, you know.
Yeah, add it to the question.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, so it's just being careful, but sometimes the questions are very answerable, and I
Yeah,
think it's a
they do
shame
so.
not to.
Can I ask, you obviously got a clerking network. What do other parish councils do? Do they have policies? Do they have guidance as to what can be said, what can't be said?
It's a very good question. It's very mixed. My other parish council don't have Facebook whatsoever. They
Lucky.
post on Nextdoor occasionally, but otherwise don't do anything. It really does depend. I've seen quite a few posts of people that they do have. To be honest, it depends on by the parish council. There's much less controversy, to be honest. So it's, you know, it's less of a question. It really is just down to the parish council. I think we're already doing more than the average, I would say, just by regularly posting on Facebook. A lot of councils don't put like the agendas and things like that on Facebook. They just put, you know, when the annual parish residents meetings and that sort of thing. So it's really up to you guys. I'm happy to do it. Conscious of my time as well as the only other thing, because obviously I'm talking over time. But I admit a lot of it's been off the clock because on my phone, so you can't help but have a look on Facebook.
Yeah, my key point about it is go with your judgment on it, but you've got to prioritise getting the council business done first, and don't let this stop you doing something that we need to get done. And
Don't get involved in the death spiral of
Yeah.
commenting.
My
Give
biggest
them an
concern
answer
would be
and step out.
protecting you, to be honest with you, to make sure that you don't inadvertently get drawn into something negative, which can happen.
Very easily.
So it might be wise, for example, to bear in mind that, from my experience, most negative or distracting comments can take place after 1 o'clock. Not talking about you, I'm just talking about the general public on Facebook. That maybe it might be an idea for you to only get involved, because then you'd be less likely to get dragged in if you're only doing it, I don't know, during office hours or something. But I'm only thinking about protecting you, because it's quite easy to get sucked into a rabbit hole, and once you've started, it's difficult to get out.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Up to now, I've sort of, not as a rule, but I've tried to just do sort of one response, because when you get into a to and fro,
Yeah.
you know.
And also, are you doing it from your personal account?
So there is a, so I forgot to mention that so we've got the main parish council page. It's run by a profile which has got my name and face. It's not my personal Facebook account. It's the clerk. It was Teresa's. I've just changed it. It said Eleni actually in the thing. I've just updated it to me because I think it's better if it's my face on comments.
Yeah, but it's not your personal
It's not my
account.
personal.
Oh, that's good. I was worried.
No, my personal is Robin. Don't worry.
Okay. Okay. That's good.
Okay, so I think in summary, use your judgment,
Yeah.
push any questions to the appropriate channel.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, good. So that will make it a bit more responsive. And we're already more responsive than most councils, despite what people say. To consider how meetings are recorded and broadcast by the council, not by Act, by the council.
So do we,
Yep, you.
I'll put this on again, sorry. So yeah, it's a question from me. So I can see that the policy was that we recording. It's not been put on the website since January. First off, I wasn't sure if there was a reason for that, because as far as I'm aware, that was sort of, you know, Teresa was still here till April, so I'm not
Probably failing to do it.
my personal thought is if we're being filmed anyway, we could film it and put it on our website so that it's, you know, up and for the public the day after. I used to do that with my old committees and things. I'm sure I've got a draft it somewhere. Because I'm thinking for audio quality and things like that, then it could be closer to us, or, you know, to our discretion. But I'm just thinking if people are clearly watching the recording, then, you know, I mean, I'm recording on Teams, but I'm very conscious every time I type, it sort of overpowers the feed. I'm very self-conscious when I'm, you know, coughing, drinking, rustling papers, but I know if I'm listening to myself, it kind of ruins the audio. Plus putting it off Teams is a bit of a fiddle, so.
So is the suggestion we film?
Yeah, that's my.
It saves you sitting there as well, holding a thing.
Well,
You
yeah.
have such a fun time.
Yeah, okay, I mean, try it.
Well, don't worry, we'll get the BBC to edit it.
We'll try it and then see how it goes. But yes, I think it's a good shout.
Yeah, I don't think it needs a resolution such as we're already saying we're going to.
Okay, right, cool.
Yeah,
Nature.
Happy to do it, are we? Yeah.
happy to do that. I've got a mic that you can use.
I've had some residents say they've had difficulty accessing again and getting in,
Yes, I
which
think
I suspect is perhaps when you're talking and or
this is the trouble. I don't get a notification, so it relies on me occasionally flicking into the Teams call to check if anyone's requested to
Probably
join.
the second screen.
So you know, it is that where, you know, whereas if we had an official recording that came out the day after, that may even reduce the need for live feed a bit. You know, I'm not saying get rid of it, but you know, it will be a better experience, I think, than the live feed anyway.
I think we should keep the right things, just if we can think of a way to make it so that if people do want to get in, we can let them in. I don't know, I don't know.
So it is literally a case of, I mean, today I'm not aware of anyone trying to join and nothing's come up. But it's just if I get kind of, you know, focused on bits of the minutes,
Okay, so
Yeah.
Can I just say, a point of order? Meetings are not supposed to last more than 2.5 hours unless directed by the chairman or agreed by councillors. I'm not staying beyond 2.5 hours.
We we've got 10 minutes, let's
Which is why
move
I
this
put
through.
it.
Mark, over to you.
Okay, so the next one is we've got policies. Has everyone had a look at the amended code of conduct? Do we have any comments on that?
Yeah, I just wondered how that came about. What created this change to the code of conduct and why it's necessary?
So, this is from me, essentially, that since I've been here, I've heard about 500 different interpretations of our code of conduct. And when I went to the training, I sort of sat there like, well, if it's meant to mean that, why doesn't it just say that? Particularly around where it says when members of the public are able to speak, it's very unclear, but it means that during public participation, basically the conflicts of interest don't apply, you can speak if you've got a conflict. And again, I just don't think that's clear. So the only bits I've suggested is a change, and the part about the chair giving permission was purely because we haven't got public participation at present. It was to put another mechanism in. But yeah, it was just to try and arrange it a bit more clearly, because there's just so much confusion about application of I just I've heard so many different.
So these are not based on the model.
So this is the model.
This is the model.
It's a slightly reorganised model, but I haven't changed any of the rules other than. So the one bit I have widened, because it's very confusing, because when I've spoken to like the monitoring officer, and she said, "Oh, you need to take bias into consideration," and things. In the code of conduct, it doesn't say that. So I think the finance element confuses it. I'm not worded as well. My personal opinion is I don't think it should need to be a finance item for a conflict to arise from it, if you see what I mean. At present, if it's not a financial conversation or there's no financial implication, then there's no conflict, basically. Whereas I think the test that's in there, which is it affects the councillor more than the majority of the ward, so something of the public amenity wouldn't apply, and a reasonable member of the public would think that you're biased. I think it's a good test, and I think you could just apply that to all situations to figure out.
Okay. I think what we're finding is in practice, our code of conduct saying one thing, yet we're being judged on another thing. And the purpose of this was to bring those two things sort of into line so that we can at least model it to something that makes sense and not then get in trouble because we haven't applied something that isn't actually in our code of conduct anyway. The code of conduct was badly written by the people that wrote the model.
Okay, but if we're suggesting that we move away from the model code of conduct, and bearing in mind that there's already a huge amount of dissatisfaction with this parish council, I'm quite concerned about changing and moving away from the model code of conduct if there's no real need to do so. I don't understand that there's a clear need for us to do any of this, and I think that we're putting ourselves at risk of further questioning that isn't really necessary. So I would like to defer this as a minimum, or I will be voting against it because I can't see that there's any proven need for us to do this.
Okay, anybody else?
Do we have advice? Has there been formal consultation or advice from the monitoring officer
They won't give advice.
in respect of amending the code of conduct that they look after?
So, they wouldn't give advice on it, but we don't have to, the model is just there as an option. The council doesn't have to adopt the model code of conduct. We could write a brand new code of conduct from scratch and adopt it. There's no requirement for us to have that model one. In practice, I say the rules are, other than what I've highlighted, exactly the same. So most of the wording is exactly the same. Like all the no maximums bits and all that is the same. Maybe some grammar somewhere. But,
Okay.
In view of the fact that Uttersford Local Government Association and they're the ones that have drawn this up, my concern is by adjusting some of this, could we be seen to weaken our position? Could our decisions be challenged as not being or being ultra vires? And I mean, the last thing we want to do is get another judicial review. So unless we've got a formal consultation that we can look at, I don't see why we should deviate from the one that there is. I did notice on this bit where you've put in the 7.8 about giving a short statement to circumvent with the public not being there. Are we not reviewing this next month anyway?
Well, yes, to be honest, I did this before. This was one of the earlier items that I did. I think on reflection, that bit isn't needed.
Let's defer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy if we could defer it and I talk to the ALC and get their.
I would prefer to have proper advice.
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
really
what I did.
concerned that
That's okay. Particularly as we've only got 5 minutes left before people leave as well.
Okay, does anyone else, with the other councillors, that we're happy for
Defer.
deferring this?
Defer.
Yeah. Okay, so then, the motion from the clerk, she's happy for it to be deferred, we don't need to vote on that. We would defer it, to consider it further. Right, highways we've covered, we can talk about the bush end defibrillator at the next meeting. Grass cutting, there is something.
That was a spot.
Grass cutting, there is.
Is it up and running?
Yeah, we can catch up that, but I've got 2 problems
Okay.
at Bush End. One is somebody has screwed a Bombington sign on our ancient Bush End sign as you go north on the B103. Who gives these permissions to bolt? It says Bombington's this way. Who gives the permission for that? I mean, it's,
Take it down.
Well, that's
Highways,
like-
if highways haven't given permission, we take it down.
I mean, I just wonder who suddenly goes along and screws it up.
I'll
You know,
find out
it's-
if there was permission.
Yeah.
It's
There's
an
no
ancient.
permission
Yes.
to take it down.
The other thing is, and this is for our clerk, did we get anything from the developer of the 100 houses yet?
No, I haven't heard from
No.
them, actually.
Okay.
No, I advised them that.
Because that's most important. All right, so we're still waiting.
I'll chase them.
Okay, the one item we do need to vote on, that I know about, is the grass cutting, because there is a need to, because grass is still growing, to get the grass cut from the recreation ground, etc. There's a small recreation ground, farm, and whatever else he cuts. That will cost us £200, I believe,
What would that come under?
and the normal grass cutting on the village board.
So, on the financial review, that could be approved under.
We can, yeah, well, actually, we can approve that, can't we?
Yeah.
So we'll cover that under our powers.
I think for what he's doing, it's good value.
Okay, Christmas trees. Come up regularly.
This is likely to be the school, so I'm going to just...
Well, it may or may not be. So, carols around the trees are unlikely to happen because no one's stepping up to run it. Amy has come up with a good idea to a way of housing the Christmas tree back in the centre of the village. So, where the bus stops on the corner, the path is massive. We could put a large planter there, deep enough to put the tree in. So Amy's having a look into the cost of said planter and actually sticking the village tree there, back in the centre.
How much is the planter? 1,000?
Yeah, it depends on what material you want.
It's going to be cast iron, it's going to be removable.
Or, I mean, we could get a local business to sponsor it maybe.
Maybe. I suggest we have a budget of 1,500 quid and get on with it.
On that note, I'm happy to organise carols around the park if it means that it will happen. I'm more than happy to do that. I'm more than happy to organise a Christmas tree as well. If anyone would like me to, it's not a problem, I've done it before.
Sourcing the Christmas trees, not a problem. It's the
where we put it.
It's where we put it, and it's do we put it back there. We have got permission to use lights from number one in the High Street, from their upstairs window there, that's drill a hole through.
Can I propose a budget of £1,500 and get on with it?
Okay, anyone else?
My only concern, will it be in the middle of the pavement?
It will be offset, in line with the other planters more or less.
Oh, okay.
Is the school not an option?
The school is an option, it could come back to the school, it's where.
Nobody wants it here. They want it round the park.
Yeah.
There is the option of we provide school with a tree as well, that's the other. The trees are what, 200-ish,
Yeah, so
150 to 200 quid.
I have made a proposal.
Okay, so we have a proposal,
One second.
seconder for 1,500 quid,
Budget.
Budget.
Cast iron plant.
cast iron planter at the centre of the village.
Get the finger
And we're definitely our regulation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Right.
can be well back from the road there, we've got a tape measure and
Brilliant.
worked it out.
Okay.
And that's, you know, it's not,
Even with parked cars then.
there's a lot of room.
Okay.
I've offered to
Propose a
decorate it
seconder.
if anyone would like me to, then the offer is there.
Can I have a show of hands, all those in favour?
Yeah.
With that, I'm going to suggest an amendment that we buy a tree for the school, £200. Can I have a seconder?
Yeah.
All those in favour?
Can we not get one from town farmers cheaper?
Yeah, that's a max budget.
Oh.
It'll be less than that. Kerry, you don't take part in that vote.
Right.
Okay. 200. Recreation ground, is there anything we need to do?
No, from the report, the house apparatus, they think is within warranty, they just want me to prove that we've looked after it for the duration we've had it. And then they'll do the repairs that need doing. I've done the repairs on the other one, the primary one. And I'll put the signs up at each gate now, sign on each end.
Nice.
Is there anything on any of the planning conditions we need to do?
No, we'll have a look at that.
Parish survey,
Just to say on the parish survey, if you want to defer it, doesn't matter because the COC are going to put a sort of survey on its website.
Okay. Sorry? We didn't have any grant applications. Items for the next agenda, we sent to the clerk per usual. Date for the next meeting is Wednesday, 10th December, unless changed